All right, this is James Madison from Best Food, Best Health, also known as the Healthy Engineer.
Oh, good. And this is Amo Arnold. This is our 4th hour of YouTubing.
Right.
It's like in the middle of the night.
It's past
Everybody's
midnight.
sleeping.
Yeah.
And it's out the cockers.
Out the cockers.
Go to bed.
We got the most energy here.
Which is
right?
the old men go to bed. You're waking us up. Anyway, go ahead. We're right now. We're interviewing Nathan.
Nathan Batalion. Yes. Okay.
And we're at the Woodstock Fruit Festival.
Woodstock
by the
Fruit
way.
Festival. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And you have a story. Go ahead.
Yeah, you have a story to
Yeah,
tell.
yeah,
It was
I
really
guess.
interesting.
I
You told me
guess.
this morning, and
All
I'd
right.
like my viewers to hear it.
All right.
Good.
Okay. So here's the beginning of it. I was born in Germany. I was
Okay.
born after the war.
After the war.
And to a Holocaust surviving family. And so, that made me extremely sensitive to the suffering on this planet, to the brutality that humanity is capable of. And it ultimately impacted my becoming a vegan, because animals here on this planet are treated very much the way, Jews are treated in the concentration camps. In fact, I just saw a movie called Earthlings, which everybody should see, and everybody should become a vegan after seeing that movie. And it's just, it's just so horrendous what humanity, the callousness with which humanity treats animals. So from that, I came to the United States, and because I came from an immigrant family, they worked very hard. They came, from an old worldview, really, where, food didn't matter. If you were sick, you take drugs. So we had it, and having a lot of food meant you were rich, no matter what kind of food it was. Because my stepdad, who I came with here, he lived in a small town. If he had one little piece of meat like this, that means he was nourished that week. So when he came here, he became a butcher, and had all the meat he wanted. We had a grocery store with all kinds of junk food and every kind of candy imaginable. And by the time I was 11 years old, eating that kind of junk food, I already had hepatitis.
Wow.
I was in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, and I already started signs of degeneration at 11 years old. So then, when I got a little older, actually the next year I discovered, I picked up a math book one summer, and I went through algebra 1, 2, 3, trigonometry, calculus, differential, integral calculus, and at the end of the summer I passed a course at Fairleigh Dickinson University, proctored exam. I came in first in a countywide math competition, so I was the equivalent of a math prodigy at that time.
Oh, 11 years old?
Yeah, I was 12 then.
12.
Yes.
Well, 11 you would have been, 12 you're too.
Yeah. Then I went to high school. They didn't know what to do with me. I started to learn. They threw me in the algebra 1 class all over again. But then a couple of years later, when I was 17 years old, actually, go back 1 year. When I was 16, I had a bike accident. I was in Hawaii. I came down a big hill. I flipped over. I cracked my front teeth. I had a brain concussion, and I seemed to be fine afterwards, but approximately a year later I had a very high fever, and suddenly my left brain shut down.
Wow.
And I was aphasic. I couldn't.
This is also you had hepatitis too.
No, I didn't have hepatitis.
Because you said you had hepatitis, you never talked about it.
Oh, hepatitis, yes.
Yes.
I didn't. Yeah, I was taking something else.
Yes.
I had hepatitis, yes, and so now I can't give blood transfusions
Right.
because of that. But so I couldn't do my math. I couldn't even talk in whole sentences. My left brain shut down, and I was thrown into literally a different universe, like a right brain way of seeing the world, and I could talk forever on that. But it sent me on a spiritual journey.
So the whole left brain was...
The left brain shut down. I mean, I still
you're
had words going through my brain, but I couldn't hold on to them long enough to form sentences. And so...
By the way, where does Raw fit in? Just to
it fits in tremendously,
Okay.
because I later had a website called Raw Wisdom, by the way, and there's a relationship between the right brain seeing the world in a raw way, not dressed up by our concepts, which come from ourselves and are imposed upon the world, and turning to raw foods. And the reason why is because the right brain sees a living universe that's composed of an ocean of consciousness, and that at the core of that consciousness is a spiritual, universal relationship of connection. And when we eat raw foods, we take in that energy.
Now you're saying, when did you start eating raw food?
first transition I
Right,
did, and
right.
for 25 years
Right.
I was a vegetarian.
Okay.
All right?
From 18 to 43.
No, I started in my 30s, because
You started from 30,
Uh,
30 to 55 year vegetarian.
yeah, around 27 or so, my health started to deteriorate again,
Right.
drinking too much coffee.
Right, right.
I had some condition called hydrocele.
Right.
In my 30s, I had an operation which made
Right.
it worse.
Right.
And the doctors gave me drugs which made it worse, so I turned to vegetarianism to help. And coming from such a Jewish, background, it was hard to give
Are you
up.
Jewish?
Yes. Yeah,
I'm Jewish too.
Holocaust, no background.
Okay, yeah.
It was very hard to give up everything, the
Right.
dairy, the
Right,
fish.
right.
I mean,
Yeah, a lot of family
Yeah.
influence, peer
Yeah.
influence.
Right, kippered salmon for the
Mhm.
holidays,
Mhm.
whatever it was, And so it took me a while, and then it wasn't, so 25 years from
30 to
from my
55.
30, to about 55.
Right.
And then I made a transition, thanks to a girlfriend, to a vegan diet.
Right.
Now, the beginning of that transition was very difficult, the first year or so, because I cold turkey stopped taking fish and getting those omega-3 fats.
Right.
And I didn't realize that I still had a latent brain problem.
Wow.
Okay, so my girlfriend said to me a couple of times, I felt healthy, I was running races and stuff,
Right.
and she said, you had a brain seizure last night.
Wow.
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 Okay, and I said, no, that's crazy.
Right,
I'm
right.
perfectly healthy, I don't remember a thing.
Right,
And
right.
this happened 2 or 3 times. Well, as the months went on, it got worse, and I would wake up, and although I couldn't remember the actual seizures, I'd feel nauseous
Okay, so you had seizures
at night.
with a vegan diet.
Yes,
So
by
you,
the
you,
transition.
You
right.
made a decision. What happens when cat don't come in seizure after seizure? What do you do then?
Well, I was very fortunate. I started to look on the internet. I
Right.
started to
Right.
study it,
Right.
and especially, I think the thing that helped me the most actually was a video by Rick Denis, who was
Okay.
here at the
Right.
Woodstock Food
Rick
Festival.
Denis.
Right, and having developed a right brain worldview, which would take me forever to explain, but
Mhm.
I gave it you a encapsulation that life
Right.
is a core
Right.
of nature,
Right.
consciousness, universal
Right.
connection. I could recognize his description
Right.
of the chemistry of omega-3s just was like a Christmas tree lit up for me. I said,
Okay.
this is the stuff I need to get my brain fixed.
Right.
And I started to take the flaxseed, a tablespoon of flaxseed, especially before going to sleep.
Right.
And the first year I only had 1 seizure, the second year no seizures.
So once you became raw,
Yes,
and then you also at the same time taking flaxseed oil
as my only
as
supplement.
your only supplement. And then after 1 year, the seizure stopped.
After the second year, I had
That's the
no,
second year.
Yeah, no more.
So you haven't
seizures.
had seizure since then.
I have not.
So you attribute that for 2 factors. Number 1, going raw.
Yes.
Number 2, taking flaxseed.
Yes.
And now you have no seizure. Now you can
I have
remember,
no
now you can remember his
seizures.
name.
Right. So I was actually originally what happened.
What about her name?
Her name?
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
It'll come to you.
Yeah. But so I remember exactly. I have 2 years as a vegan, my
Right.
transition period. Then I noticed I started having knee problems,
Right.
even as a cooked vegan.
You cook vegan.
Because here's the problem. A plant-based diet is a better carrier of the life force.
Right.
So now if you take that better carrier and you cook it, you're destroying the carrier.
That's
You're
right.
destroying the
That's right.
messenger.
Yeah.
You destroy the messenger.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Killing all
Shame.
the, killing
Yeah.
all the nutrition out of the,
Yeah.
out of the
You
food.
kill it.
Right. So it took me a while to figure that out, and what made
That's
me
hard for people to figure out.
very hard.
But almost impossible.
Yeah. And what,
Almost impossible. Except for us 3 old guys.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
there's-
I'm not that old.
Well, there's 3 things that helped, There were 3 things. Well, first,
not that
I
old.
didn't mean that you guys were old.
I don't mean
Sorry.
that
I can't tell my story. These guys are so
Oh, no, I'm
excited. No, my knees started hurting me.
Oh.
I started to get, conventional prostatitis you get in your 50s,
Wow.
right? I mean, you get up in the middle of the night,
Right,
you gotta
yeah,
pee and so
yeah.
on. I said, this vegan diet isn't
Right.
working for me.
Right, right,
Besides the seizures and
Right.
everything else,
Right.
so I switched to the raw diet.
right.
And so for 2 years, I was on a vegan raw diet.
And that's when also the prostate problem stopped.
Yes.
Wow.
And my knees, and I could
Wow.
run again.
Wow.
But I didn't run a lot. I only ran
Right.
three races.
Right.
And then that year, and then then 2 years, the 2 following years, I combined the raw diet with what I call a living foods diet.
Wow, okay.
So I added sprouts, I added probiotics,
Right.
and then my energy just went through the roof.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
All that. It's like
Right.
basically you increased your intake of nutrient-dense foods,
Yes.
especially sprouts. They're so
Absolutely.
nutrient-dense.
And I have a green juice every day,
Yeah.
and I have And my philosophy of healing or what naturopathy is that it has 4 legs. The first is get the best in, the second is get the worst out, the third is circulate both of those processes, and third is keep your mind on track. All right?
Okay.
That's it.
And your name is Nathan.
My name's Nathan.
And you actually have your own website.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
My website is healingtalks.com. That's my blog. The prior website, which is still up, is called raw-wisdom.com.
Right.
And that's the website that started to express the life-centered vision of nature that I got from being a right-brain person,
Right.
and which I believe can heal the planet and save us from the
Yeah,
misery.
James, since this is our last video together, say something about you.
Yeah. Say
Okay.
something about
Give your
yourself.
video, give your YouTube.
Yeah, you're
thing.
YouTube, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, basically my story is I used to be 50 pounds
Oh,
overweight.
wait, I already did on mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So,
finish it
oh
up.
yeah, yeah.
go
So
ahead.
I used to be 50 pounds overweight on 7 medications for
Right.
asthma, allergies, back pain, and eczema, and I also had high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And as of today, I'm on nothing. Except I do have the asthma medicine that I hardly need
Right.
anymore. Not like I was taking that asthma medicine every 3 hours just to survive. So what I did, it's been basically a diet change, and it's also a lifestyle change. And the
Right.
way it's not just food, but it's about the way you think. It's about a lot of different things.
Right.
That's why my page is Best Food, Best Self. So it's not just about food.
Right.
But basically, our body houses the temple of our spirit, and if we keep our body in good health by eating good foods, our spirit is able to soar.
Right.
So our level of consciousness goes higher by eating healthy foods. So that you're not like in the cloud or in the dark all the time.
Good.
So
That's it.
that's just very
No
important.
more asthma.
No.
No.
Very little. I mean, just only like a few times a year I need to inhale it. But as of like in the last couple of months, I've been really strict.
Anyway, this is live from Woodstock.
Yes.
We have Arnold, Nathan, and James, and everyone says, go to bed.
The
Yeah, we
3
gotta hit the
Musketeers,
cities.
and we're out to get you on this diet.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Very good. Very good.
All right.